On Friday, November 15th, Netflix and Most Valuable Promotions bring you the highly anticipated heavyweight boxing mega event of the year. Jake El Gallo Paul will go toe-to-toe in the ring against Iron Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet. Don't miss this epic showdown from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Watch Paul versus Tyson, now streaming only on Netflix.
The new Apple Watch Series 10 is here. It has the biggest display ever. It's also the thinnest Apple Watch ever, making it even more comfortable on your wrist. And it's the fastest charging Apple Watch, getting you 8 hours of charge in just 15 minutes. Introducing the all-new Apple Watch Series 10, now available for the first time in glossy jet black aluminum. Compared to previous generation, iPhone XS or later required. Charge time and actual results will vary.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be. To be.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
He manages to get it wide, Jacob Minter. Yeah, good job with the shot, and the Slough Jets have taken the lead on the power play. With 23 with the shot for a goal. No need for the save from Lorde, and Campbell throws himself in, and it is 3-1 to the Johnson Chieftains.
Hello and welcome to Zero Pucks Given, the UK Ice Hockey Podcast. We're in partnership with the Hockey Art Co. Hockey clothing for hockey people, worn by the best and hated by the rest. Listeners to Zero Pucks Given get a 10% discount off of everything site-wide from hockeyartclothing.co.uk. Just use the code ZP10. Loads of stuff on there for off-ice and on-ice, and just added now a new Slipknot jersey. It looks like I'm going to be getting all over that one. We're also in partnership with Manscaped, the globally recognised male grooming brand with products that are so good you cannot be without them. The lawnmower, the weed whacker, the dome shaver pro, the beard hugger, all sorts of stuff that men absolutely need to keep themselves in tip-top condition. You can get 20% off everything from manscaped.com when you use the code 0pucks20. And we're also in partnership with the Sport Social Podcast Network, the largest sport podcast network in Europe, boasting over 500 podcasts from more than 20 different sports. And we're absolutely thrilled that the ZPG network, which is Zero Pucks Given and ZPG Ice Maidens, is a part of it. Well, this is episode 131. Welcome along. This is our men's mental health episode, which is going to be possibly, slightly triggering for some people. We're going to discuss some, men's mental health issues as well as solutions for it as well. But just a little pre-warning that it may be slightly triggering later on. I do want to start, though, again, on quite a sour note. The episodes that have come out so far this week were all recorded on the Monday, so they were pre the announcement from Slough Jets at 6 p.m. on Tuesday that Tyler Hatfield had sadly passed away. I couldn't quite find the words to put out. I shared the post just with the words absolutely heartbreaking. I couldn't actually fathom any other words. As a parent, you should never have to go through that. I'm sending all my love to Harry and Michaela and to the members of the Slough Jets family that have been affected by this awful, awful tragedy. And although I've not met Harry or Michaela, my DMs are open if you want to speak. There's friends I have that have gone through things similar. We might, there may be common ground if you need to sort of talk with anybody. And I'm sure Slough are offering all the help that you may need at the time. But I couldn't really think of the words to put to it. So I just share again that it's absolutely devastating, and my heart is with you both, and everyone from Slough Jets, because it's the hockey family. I'm sure everyone is doing their best to rally around Harry and Michaela. And once again, I just send you my deepest thoughts and condolences. So in this episode then, we are going to be catching up with Sean from Andy's Man Club. Andy's Man Club were present at the playoff finals in April at Alexandra Palace. They were raising awareness of their charity there, giving out leaflets and badges and things and wristbands, of which I'm actually still wearing mine that I got from that weekend. So Sean's going to talk us through everything about the charity, how it started, why it started, where it operates and what exactly it does. This week I was lucky enough to get myself into the city after work and actually finally meet up face-to-face with Nick Rothwell. Since Nick was on the podcast back in April last year, we've been talking as regularly as we can. I've helped him out on a few different things. We've been speaking about some big projects that, you know, could be well planned for the next few years, really. I think that Nick's going to be a friend for life for me. We met, we had a coffee. It's quite clear, I think, that we both feel exactly the same about what we're doing in each other's lives. So that was absolutely fantastic. And I also caught up with Haringey Huskies owner Lee Mercer. So here's both of these chats for you now.
Zero Pucks Given, as promised, I have hooked up with my friend Nick Rothwell. We are in Elephant and Castle at the Castle Square, where you are hosting Retribe Communities. Tell us about it, mate.
Ben, I've been part of the Elephant and Castle community now for about 4.5 years, before lockdown. And it's funny, the train station is just over there, and I used to get off the train from Bromley to my office, which was on the other side of the shopping center. And I just got in touch with the management there, and I told them that Retribe is about community building, and they said, hey, look, we're tearing down the mall. We need somebody to come in and support the community. And that's what we were meant to do. And then 2 weeks later, it was pandemic, lockdown, so we started to supply them talks and workshops online. But now it's time to use this community center. As you can see, like the whole area is being gentrified.
Yeah.
But they do have this community center where they're like, can you get people face to face? And that's why we're here, so that I can get my tribe of guys together, really hockey players that I know from the London community, so we can use this space. But also, once we start using this space, the word will get out that a group of guys are here to talk about things that challenge men. And it's not going to be like exclusively a man's club or anything, but it is a place where we can talk about challenges and issues that men today are addressing.
Yeah, which we're doing more and more these days, which we didn't, you know, in previous years.
Oh, we didn't talk about it, did
we?
We
didn't talk about anything.
No.
Too macho.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, as we spoke earlier, it might be a bit of a replacement for the Monday night at the Leaf, where guys used to get together and have wings, watch some hockey, maybe have a beer.
Yeah.
There's plenty of food on offer around here.
There's so many restaurants around here, and yeah, we could even bring wings and beer if you like here, and just create this space. You know, everyone says safe spaces, and I remember even Nicky Watt from 4000 was like, Nick, what's a safe space? And really, it's just a space where people can come to and know that the number one rule is like no judgment. And what we try to do is create a space where people are coming in here, and it takes a bit of time, but people start to share a little bit more vulnerably, and when they share vulnerably, a little bit of trust is made.
Yeah.
And then when trust is made, then you know you can start sharing about things that are maybe things that you wouldn't want to tell your family or even your teammates or your co-workers, because you might feel a little embarrassed or a little bit ashamed. Where if we create this space on Monday nights where you know you're with a group of people who are not going to judge you, what goes on in this room stays in this room, and you can share in safety about things that are challenging today.
But I think that one of the biggest things about it as well is a lot of men that are now actually reaching out and talking about things. You're finding out you're not the only one.
That's right. You know, like I'm part of a program where it says you're no longer alone. And I think that's just, I think it's beautiful when we realize it, because we're always taught, right, that we're sort out our own problems, not to talk about our problems because they're a sign of weakness. Never ask for help. I was taught by my dad, if you get a job in a corporation or anywhere like that, don't ask for help because someone's going to think you don't know your job and they're going to pick on you for it. And unfortunately, a lot of those mindsets still exist today. So we create a space here where people can say, I'm struggling with this, or I'm feeling blocked with this, and know that they're being listened to. And we encourage an environment where people don't give you solutions. They give you suggestions and considerations, and they don't tell you what to do. There's none of that goes on.
Yeah. And this space here, so it's a Tuesday night here, is going to be...
Monday. Regularly Monday.
Night now, yeah.
The whole point of this Monday and Tuesday that you see me post about is like just to start the ball rolling. Do little things like this. So we're not expecting it to get packed right away. Just 1 or 2 people will come, and then they can bring 1 or 2 people, and then it will just grow organically.
Yeah.
So it's just, a waterfall begins with 1 drop of water, right?
So the Monday nights then, it's not exclusively for hockey players though, this Monday night thing. It's just for men in general.
It's just for people to come to. But it just, because I'm a man and I'm a hockey player, and my experience is with regards to being a man and being a hockey player, I'm hoping that I'll attract that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like people, like there's Streatham down the road, Lee Valley, Haringey up the road. So I was a bit of a trek away, but I know on Mondays, I played in Guildford, we came up to London, just for wings and a beer and a get together, and all the guys from other teams would get together, and sometimes it'd be a bit of shit show. Yeah. But it was a time for guys to come together.
Yeah.
And we haven't done that in a long time. And if we would just start here, like you said, there's a whole bunch of restaurants around here that sell some really cool food, and we can even have food brought here. But it's just a time now on Mondays between 7 and 8 where people can come together and just hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are playing in the UK, join the UK Stick Together Tribe on Facebook, where Nick is producing, Nick and myself are producing exclusive content with UK ice hockey players. So I'll put a link in there for you to go and find it. Thanks so much, Nick.
Thanks, brother.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks, dude.
Absolutely delighted to welcome Lee Mercer. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Pleased to meet you. Finally got on here.
You finally got us on.
Yeah, we finally got on here. So
yeah, we don't cover a great deal of NIHL too.
Nope.
But how is things going with the Huskies so far this year?
Yeah, it's going well. Obviously, we've got a new head coach, Pete, who is finding his feet, I think, as a head coach. The team's starting to gain momentum. I think the last couple of seasons we've been slow starters. We finished strong, but we've got some good results behind our back. Obviously at the weekend there we got a heavy defeat to Peterborough at home, 5-1. Wasn't really a 5-1 hockey game. Obviously we lost Luke Clark in the summer through one reason or another. That kind of bit us on the arse.
Yeah. Because
Luke stood on his head that game and rightly got man of the match. I think on any other given day, I think that would have been a very, very close game.
You've had to rebuild in goal as well, because Tom Adams, of course, has moved on to Chelmsford.
To Chelmsford, yeah. We wish Tom well. He's got a desire to play in NHL 1 and above, as has Luke. Luke has always wanted to play in the National League, which he did with us. We gave him to the Lightning quite a few times last year. Thought he was going to build on that, and he's got the opportunity to play in his hometown, which you can't turn that down. And as much as it hurts me and it hurts the club, you've got to move on. But we've just brought in young Dylan from Streatham Redhawks. Really nice guy, really nice kid. Good goalie, good stats. So we're hoping that he will kick on in his career now with us and help us push up that league.
Yeah, and as a whole in Haringey, the whole team has grown with the Greyhounds. They've had a pretty good start and an incredibly busy barn.
Yeah, they have. So they got over 400 in their first home game for the first ever Women's League game, which is just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Kirsty, the rink manager, Hannah, the captain, Yazzie as well as part of the team. They've been absolutely incredible and just doing it. They just got on, building the club together, making it their own, and they're 2 for 2.
Yeah. Yeah, they're enjoying their hockey.
So yeah, we could maybe get a league title back at the Palace.
Yeah.
Might not be the one that I overly want, but a league title is a league title.
But all the details on the Greyhounds actually will be in ZPG Ice Maidens that comes out every week.
Amazing.
Our network show that covers the WNIHL. But as you were saying about not the title that you want, we were just saying in the room here, Haringey have been to 3 playoff finals. They've hosted a couple of them as well.
Yeah.
And it's now getting to the time. I know last year you were on with our friend Watty over at 4,000 and Counting, talking about Haringey coming up, and it didn't happen in the end. Is it still part of the plan?
So I could put a bit light on that. Why didn't it happen? It didn't happen because I actually underestimated how much it would cost to put a team in NHL 1, and that may seem really crazy. People don't know our circumstances at the Huskies. They don't know. They see this large crowd and think we're financially flush. That's not the case. Alexander Palace takes the tickets on the door, and we have a different arrangement. So this year we got Dan Samson, our coach. He's part of my sort of management team. he is away putting together what it would cost to put a team in NHL 1.
Yeah.
So that is still very much part of our plan. I think the building deserves it. I think the fans deserve it. I think the leagues deserve it. I do know there's a lot of things going on in the background with the EHA and stuff like that, and restructure. So yeah, I'm sure that'll get leaked out somewhere along the line.
Yeah, it's something that Nick and I were discussing earlier today, actually, that perhaps the whole thing does need a restructure from elite league all the way down to make it a bit more competitive and a bit more accessible to the whole country. Yeah,
I think definitely Hayden and them that deal directly with us, I think they do a lot of work in the background that a lot of clubs will not see. They reach out and ask for advice and opinions on things. I know I'm not the only person to do it. They do it with other teams. So they are very much looking to develop hockey in England and the structure in England and make it sort of fair for all and make it competitive possible across the leagues.
Yeah, Hayden will actually be on Zero Pucks Given just before Christmas.
Okay.
So I'm sure he'll be able to elaborate.
Make sure you get some subtitles in for him.
A little bit more on some of that stuff. But Lee, thanks so much for joining me here. Good
yeah,
luck
no
to the Huskies for the rest of the year.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Take care.
Massive thanks to Nick and Lee. It was so great to catch up with both of them. I've not seen Lee since April, since Huskies hosted the playoffs as well, so lovely to see Lee. Some exciting stuff going on at Ali Pali. Don't sleep on that club. I tell you, they are coming. They are doing big, big things. So then, right, men's mental health. Every November, there's a big deal made about it. There's episodes that come out on different podcasts. There's all sorts of stuff that goes towards men's mental health in November. Of course, it is an all-year-round thing. But in November, we like to raise a little bit of awareness of it as well. So we're catching up with Sean, who is an ice hockey fan, which makes life a little bit easier. And Sean is representing Andy's Man Club. Absolutely thrilled to welcome Sean from Andy's Man Club. How you doing this evening, fella?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm really, really well. We were just talking a little bit off air because I said when you guys were going to be on the podcast, you were present at Alexandra Palace for the playoff finals last year. We did speak there. We've just had a little bit of banter because you're a Streatham fan. Obviously, I'm a Chelmsford fan, and normally the playoffs and everything else goes your way. So about time something else went somewhere else.
Well, yeah, congratulations to Chelmsford on their win. It wasn't the result that I was hoping for, but we can't all win all the time.
No, I mean, not only was it a great weekend hockey-wise, there was a lot of people there, and I saw you guys being incredibly busy networking, and you were presenting the Man of the Match awards and things like that to really get the name of the charity out there. So, Sean, if you can just sort of, in a little blurb, tell us exactly what Andy's Man Club is all about.
Yeah, so Andy's Man Club is a peer-to-peer support group for men over the age of 18. We run sessions every Monday between 7 and 9 p.m. across 230 locations across the country. We're growing every week. We've got clubs opening up on the 2nd of December this year, which will be our 5th London club as well, which is huge to think that the 11th of September 2023, we only had our 2nd club opening. So in a year, we've really grown.
That's astonishing growth, isn't it? As you say, I think peer-to-peer support is something that, particularly men, I think they're finding it a little bit easier now. I think they may have been possibly a little bit sort of, I don't want to say scared, I don't think that's the word, but maybe a little bit withdrawn about perhaps going to a professional or a therapist or something like that. But when it's a group of men together, I think we're finding it easier to talk. Are you able to tell me the birth of the charity and where it came from?
Yeah, of course. So back in 2016, Andy Roberts, unfortunately, a 23-year-old lad, took his own life. His brother-in-law, Luke Ambler, decided to think of an idea that if only Andy could have spoken about his problems before he inevitably did something so heartbreaking to many. So he approached Andy's mum, Elaine, with the idea of a coffee club for men to talk about their feelings. It was originally going to be Andy Roberts Coffee Club, which Elaine declined the name of, came up with the idea Andy's as an acronym, and Luke went away and came up with the idea Man Club, and that's how the phenomenon of Andy's Man Club was born.
Yeah.
Through one family's trauma has led to 5,000 men each week walking through our doors, being able to go home to their families that might not have been.
Wow, that's incredible numbers. Absolutely incredible numbers. I mean, When you go to start something like that, I mean, funding wise, how did they even start that?
I'm not even sure of that. I think really it's been the supporters. So a lot of people always think that men will come into our groups, get their problems sorted, and then just disappear. That isn't the case, and it hasn't been the case for myself either. It's always been, once these men are in better positions, they then do things for the charity. So fundraisers. We've had the Great North Run this year. We've had the Yorkshire Three Peak Challenge. It's just raising more money and more awareness around it, that hopefully people donate, or if they don't donate, and they might have a building that we can use. I mean, I know for myself and the guys at Euston, British Land have been amazing by giving us the lobby of Meta's offices.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're in Regent's Place Plaza every Monday. We've also now got Romford opening up on the 2nd of December at I think it's Queen's Royal Hospital.
Oh, yes, yeah, that is in Romford, yeah.
Yeah. So they've been great by giving us a room to use. And that's really it. It's just, if we can reach out to as many men as possible, it's bound to grow.
It will, yeah. And I mean, I know from people that, not with this particular cause, but friends of mine that have started cancer charities and the likes, it's kind of almost an ethos. If we can help one person or one family not go through what we went through, then we've kind of done our bit. But
that's exactly it. So our main ethos is that one man. If we do an awareness event, if we get one more man through the door, it's been a success.
Yeah.
Even if we've got, as you said, you've got your wristband still on.
Yeah.
And that's from April. If someone asks you about it, you can signpost them in our direction. And really, it's the support that goes around it that is so brilliant.
Yeah.
Every single person who's spoken about us, every single person who's signposted a brother, boyfriend, father into our direction, they're the real heroes of this charity.
Yeah, I would say the growth that you've had in just 12 months is phenomenal. And as you say, the use of space for no cost is absolutely vital for that, especially in London. As you say, you've got 5 London clubs open now.
Yeah, absolutely.
The space is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, our ethos is also to get one group no more than 30 minutes from any man. We understand that in London as well, being so vast, and it can take 2 hours to travel from south to north.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, but at the same time, we're growing constantly. Just 5 years, on our 5-year anniversary of the charity, we had 50 clubs. We've just reached 8 years and have 230.
That's
so even in the space of 3 years.
So how do the sessions work? What's the sort of, is there an atypical type of session? Is obviously everyone different?
So every session runs Monday between 7 and 9 p.m. Across the country. We have a format of 5 questions. Question 1, 2, and 3 stay the same each week. There's, how's your week been? Good, bad, in between, bit rubbish, really good. Question 2, one positive of your week. Believe me, when I walked through those doors at my lowest, they said one positive, and I suddenly was looking at the door like, let me leave, because I couldn't think of one. But they reminded me that I was there, and that was a massive positive change for me to improving my mental health. And then question 3, what do you want to get off your chest? Now, there's only 4 topics we don't discuss, which is religion and politics, for obvious reasons. Medication. We're not doctors or professionals. We can't give advice on medication or anything like that. And no criminal matters. That's to not infect the partiality of people, and also confidentiality. We can't stay confidential on criminal matters.
Of course.
We then usually have a 10-minute break. A lot of smokers, so they'll go out and smoke. Other people make cups of tea, and that's where the peer-to-peer support part comes in, where people will go over to others going, I feel what you said. This has worked for me. Maybe you should have a look into trying this. But we never give direct advice like go out and do this. We'll then meet up again in one big group, because we split off into smaller circles for the first 3 questions, as they can be quite tough. Question 4 and 5, they're more light-hearted, more thought-provoking. There'll be stuff like, what's your favourite crisp sandwich flavour? Which, I mean, yeah, we're a very non-judgmental group until someone says a crisp flavour that we're like, we're not too sure about that one. But it gets a laugh. And just like you smiling now, that's how people leave our sessions after answering the last 2 questions.
Yeah.
Because they are meant for people to be in a happier mood when they leave.
Absolutely. And you can see, I mean, we say it on this podcast, I hear it on other podcasts when discussing men's mental health, and we can sort of, people in a position like mine where I have a platform to give my opinion, I can say, yeah, it's changing. I think Andy's Man's Club is proof that it is changing. Yeah. That men are actually becoming more open to talking, and the fact that they're talking to each other, and as you say, there's possibly not that stigma of having a professional in the room, it's peer-to-peer. I think that's making it a lot easier for men to reach out, and as you say, with over 5,000 members, just as you are now, and the growth is so rapid, that's saving lives all over the place.
Yeah, so for me, I tried other types of therapy with professionals and stuff like that. And they helped, but for me personally, I found Andy's Man Club, the fact that we've all walked through those doors as service users, ended up becoming facilitators. We've all had that lived experience of walking through those doors. And just having other men that that they're not there in a professional standpoint. They're there because they want to be open to talk to. Mm. It breaks down that stigma and that barrier of, once again, the stigmas you were all taught as kids, man up, boys don't cry. All those things are sort of getting smashed through Andy's Man Club.
Yeah, they are. I think we spoke last year. I had Ed from Men Talk Health on when we discussed men's mental health in November. And he's got a real issue with the phrase toxic masculinity. And it kind of, because it's something I think it's almost like a Fugazi. Or, we could probably go into a Wolf of Wall Street quote off for just by bringing up that word. But it's, I think it just doesn't exist. And now that we're breaking down these walls and these barriers where we can talk. I mean, even like you say yourself, you struggled, you walked into Andy's Man Club, and you've almost come out the other side, as you say now, as a facilitator. I came from a background of being in, groups of men in a sports thing where that whole man up and, don't show anyone a weakness is a thing. But again, I don't think it's toxic masculinity. It's just, as you say, it's almost like just misleading ideas that you grow up with.
And times change as well. Like, I'm sure there was a time that when we were sitting around fires back in primitive times, that these things would be brought up. Oh, I only caught 2 fish today. Oh, well, I caught 10. And it's that sort of that competitive side of things. Mm. However, over the years, I found that things were being thrown around like the man up and, boys don't cry, don't be a girl, which they weren't beneficial to anyone. They were just said to almost silence you. And that led to people bottling things inside and for suicide to be the number 1 killer of men under the age of 54.
Yeah, that's a frightening statistic, that is, isn't it?
Well, it is when you break it down to 1 man every 2 hours.
Yeah, that's frightening.
Yeah.
Frightening. I mean, that's just in the, by the time we're done here tonight, I'd have released 3 episodes this week. That would take 2 hours. To think that someone has made that choice within that time is absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, it is, which is why these things are so much more important to me now, is like getting the message out there, getting another man to walk through our doors, or even do it online, because we have online sessions.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, so if you'd asked Luke back in 2016, would Andy's Man Club be online, he would have turned around and said, never. And then the COVID pandemic came.
Of course.
And suddenly, online, we have about 100 men each week attend online, whether they can't leave the house or there isn't a group in their area yet. When I first looked for Andy's Man Club, my closest meeting was Barnet, which was a 2-hour journey away. Mm. Now we've got meetings that are literally like an hour away, which is still not to where we want them to be, but it's more tolerable, the journey, especially through central London during rush hour.
Yeah, that can be challenging in itself, can't it? It's I mean, I don't expect you to be able to give me personal examples, and obviously I know that confidentiality is a really big part of it. Is there trends that you see within Andy's Man Club of certain issues that are causing more problems for men these days?
Not really so much trends. I mean, in our London group, we have a lot of people who've moved to London for work, for university, things like that. So loneliness is a massive part of that. I mean, to attend an Andy's Man Club session, the only thing you need to be is a man or identify as a man over the age of 18. You don't need to have a mental health problem. You don't even need to feel suicidal. You just need to be a man who's ready to open up or just listen in front of other men. That's all it is. I mean, for me, I was facing struggles with my own mortality, thinking about suicide quite a bit. But we've had men who've just come along to scope it out for a friend. Because it's, I'm so-and-so, I've come for a friend, just seeing what this is about. But then they've ended up staying and becoming facilitators because they realised actually how much they needed it.
Yeah. I mean, do you think possibly, obviously we're going back, obviously that the charity started before the pandemic, that had an effect in the sort of, as you say, with loneliness, the social aspect of men going out and being social together is less now than it was pre-COVID?
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's still people who, when someone else is ill, you won't as much go to chill with them as much because you're worried, what if I get ill and how bad will it be? But I think, as weird as it sounds, I think COVID gave us the blessing that it brought mental health to the forefront because more people struggled with it, which is a horrible thing to think about. It kind of put it into priority. So with more people having issues, it's sort of shown the light onto, well, there needs to be more support for these people and how can we support them? And Andy's Man Club for men is a great way to do that.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's in my head when I explain what it is and what it sounds a little bit scary. To walk into a room, full of men that you might not know, and I suppose if you do know them, you've got in that confidentiality to sort of not share anything outside of the group that you may find out in the group of someone that you do know. But the way you've actually put it I've been at ease instantly with the way you've put it. And say I will look on your online to your website, and if there's one near, I really do fancy coming along. And as you say, not because I have a particular problem myself, I may do, I may not, depends what day it is. But to actually just experience what you're saying, because it's the way you put it across is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I feel I've said it to multiple men, even when we're at the playoffs. Come along to a session, even if you don't feel you need it. If you've come along to a session already, when you do need it, you haven't got that fear of the unknown anymore. So if you've already been, you're like, I'm going to walk in, I'm going to make myself a coffee, I'm going to have a biscuit, I'm going to sit down. We're going to get all the stuff on my chest, off of my chest, and then we're going to have a laugh and leave. And that's always how I've seen it, is it's having that laugh before the end is so vital. Yeah,
as you say, sends you out with a smile on your face.
Oh, yeah. And some of the answers we get, I mean, we, on average, get 35 men at Euston each week with about 5 new faces. That's our sort of average number. Some of the answers you get to some of these questions, honestly, you walk out of there and go, I don't know why I was even sad in the first place. You forget all about your problems because you're laughing at someone saying TARDIS for what vehicle would you own from a TV show or movie.
Yeah, and I mean, comparison is one of those awful things in mental health because it can be incredibly negative. But I suppose if you're in a safe group and someone shares something and you can then have that sort of, what, they're worse off than I am, that sort of comparison can maybe help you a little bit.
Yeah, and we always tell people it's not a competition. So I found after a few of my sessions, I was feeling a bit better in the week. I was still attending. And when it was, how's your week been? I felt guilty for saying it was good. But the only reason it was good was because I'd opened up about how bad I was feeling the weeks beforehand. So there's no need to pretend on that sort of thing. You can be completely honest. I've had a great week. You know, like I'll be going in next Monday and being like, what's your positive of the week? Well, as you all know, because I keep ramping on about it constantly, I love ice hockey. I was on the Zero Pucks Given podcast. Like, that's my positive for the week.
Yeah.
And it shows other men that that's all down to coming to these sessions and getting things off my chest. But last week I had a failure on one of my presentations that the audio wasn't working on one of the videos.
Oh, no.
So my question 3, what do you want to get off your chest, was I've never used Microsoft Teams before. And my gosh, it was a pain to use. I think I used a bit worse language than that in the session. But yeah, it was just, it doesn't need to be the most drastic things, but also people just relate to you when you're open and honest.
Yeah, and I think that's something actually I discussed with a friend of mine, a friend of this podcast, Nick Rothwell, who has the Retry program for. It's actually a little bit similar to Andy's Man Club, but more for ex-athletes that are struggling with leaving their sport behind. That it's once you actually say what's bothering you, and as you say, someone relates to it. It's that feeling of I'm not alone. I'm not the.
Yeah, it's that problem shared is a problem halved.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I completely believe in that. Just saying things, getting it off my chest. You walk out of that room and you feel like you could fly home.
Mm.
You really do.
How did you get round to getting to the Ali Pali playoff finals then? So was that you being a fan sort of put it to the charity to say let's go here because there'll be a lot of people?
No, so it was actually, I was looking at tickets for the event, and that same day I was looking for tickets. We've been invited by I think it was Lee Mercer who invited us to come along.
Yeah, Lee
from
Haringey Huskies, and obviously they were hosting.
Yeah, so I think it was him who asked us to come along. I might be incorrect on that, but we were asked who would like to come volunteer. My first reaction, being a hockey fan, is, does this mean I don't have to pay for a ticket? To which my regional area lead, Stuart, said, yeah, if you come and do it with us, you don't have to pay for your ticket. Well, I couldn't think of anything better. A, I'm saving money, and B, I'm raising awareness for the charity that saved my life.
Yeah.
And made me fall back in love with hockey. Because there was a time that I was like, I don't even want to leave my house. I was isolating. I was feeling very down and depressed. And if it wasn't for Andy's Man Club, I wouldn't have got back into hockey the way I have.
No, they're a good crowd down at Streatham as well, actually. There's a bit of a rivalry, obviously, between Streatham and Chelmsford being two of the sort of the top teams in the league. But I would say I probably know more Streatham fans than I do of any other club in the league. And, every time I go there, I'm incredibly well treated and I'm incredibly welcomed, even though I'm a Chelmsford fan. more as this kind of independent member of the media. But, yeah, it's a great crowd down there. And there's people I know down there that I speak to that, they're not overly social and, they don't go many places. But, like, the ice rink is like their safe place. They feel happy to go there and watch the sport that they love. Because as much as it is the most attended sport in the UK, indoor sport rather, in the UK, it's still quite niche. If you say to someone, "Oh, I love ice hockey," they're like, "Really? What, in this country?"
Yeah, people don't even believe we have teams.
No.
When they're like, "Where's the London team?" And you're like, "Well, you've got Streatham, you've got Haringey, you've got Lee Valley." Romford, I would debate if it's Essex or London. It's a bit of a...
It would be like bringing up religion or politics, I think, at one of the Andy's matches.
Yeah. But yeah, I've had guys after we went to the playoffs who have gone, we should do a hockey day out. And that's the social side coming out again of Andy's Man Club, is meeting like-minded men who you don't just meet on a Monday night. You go out and meet them during the week. I'm going to see one of the guys is doing a comedy show on Sunday. I'm going to watch that. If he starts to stumble, we'll heckle him. Like, because he's asked us, we're not suddenly bullying him because he's playing up. He's asked us to heckle if it goes wrong. But it is that social side, meeting men that they know you have your demons, they know you have your battles, but they're there for the thick and the thin of it. Like, they're for it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sean, you've explained everything so well. You've done a real good job on telling us about the charity, how it works, and everything that it's come from. I'll put links and everything in all of the posts and whatnot, but tell us where everyone can find Andy's Man Club.
Yeah, so you can find Andy's Man Club at www.andysmanclub.co.uk. You can also find the national Facebook page, Andy's Man Club. We're Andy's Man Club UK on Instagram. And if you have any questions, want to find out how you can support us, where your closest group is, it's info@andysmanclub.co.uk.
Excellent. And are all the locations of the sessions all on the website? If you just put your postcode in or something, it will tell you?
Yeah, so we have a find your local session, which if you type your postcode in or your local town, it will show you the closest sessions. And if you can't find a session close to you, if you email the info@andysmanclub.co.uk by 3 p.m. on the Monday, they will send you a Google form to fill out to send you to the online session that evening at 7 o'clock.
Excellent. Sean, thank you so much for your time tonight, mate.
Thank you, Ben.
Not only have you done a great job for your charity, you're an ice hockey fan as well, so that's absolutely perfect for what we do here. And thank you so much for bringing us all of those details. And hopefully you guys can come up to Sheffield as well for the playoff finals this year.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on it right now.
Yeah, I know a few people that have already booked their hotels. I think I need to tap up England ice hockey already and make sure that I'm going to be busy.
Most definitely. Great to chat to you, Ben.
Thank you so much, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
A massive thank you to Sean for joining me on the podcast. That's touched my heart quite deeply that I'm going to be his positive moment for the week for him coming onto the podcast. So that's absolutely lovely to hear. Again, massive thanks to Nick Rothwell and Lee Mercer for chatting to me in the week when we all hooked up in London on Tuesday. That was absolutely terrific. And thank you to all of you for listening. You know, we've had a busy week this week, the Roundup episode, the Sean Reynolds episode, which was terrific. 16 years old, man. What a head that kid's got on his shoulders. I think he's going to go far. And then, of course, this men's mental health episode. So once again, a massive thank you to Sean and everyone at Andy's Man Club. Make sure you go and check out their website and their socials. And if you need it, absolutely hop along and have a look what it's all about. Right then. Thank you so much for listening. Big fixtures coming this weekend, so we'll have the Roundup episode next week, as well as an interview episode. We'll see you next time.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.